गुड मॉर्निंग एवरीवन। मैं लखनवाई मीना, असिस्टेंट प्रोफेसर इंग्लिश फ्रॉम गवर्नमेंट कॉलेज चमेला झालावाड़। आपका हमारे यूट्यूब चैनल में हार्दिक अभिनंदन है। आज पढ़ेंगे अपन डब्ल्यू की ए प्रेयर फॉर माई डॉटर शेष रही पोइम। दो वीडियो में अपन ने आधी पोइम पढ़ ली थी, अब शेष पोइम आज पढ़ेंगे। See this stanza. My mind become the minds that I have, the sort of beauty that I have proved, prosper but little had dried up of late, yet know that to be choked with late may well be of all evil chances chief, if there is no hatred in a mind, exalt and battery of the wind, can never tear the innate from the leaf, and intellectual hatred in the worst. So let her think opinions are accursed. Have I not seen the loveliest woman born out of the mouth of plenty's horn? Because of her opinionated mind better the throne, and every good by quite nature's understood, for an old bellows full of angry world. See the explanation of these lines. These lines are from W.B. Yeats from a prayer for my daughter. The daughter here eats, you born child any butler eats. The poet father prays for a happy life for a daughter. The world he sees in heading towards anarchy. The poet praises courtesy, charm, wisdom, the good manners, glad kindness. He wants his daughter to be free from hatred, especially intellectual hatred. He says that courtesy is to be preferred to the perfection of physical charms. The poet father prays that the soul of his daughter may grow and reach self-fulfillment like a flourishing tree. He prays that cheerful and innocent thought may cluster round her soul as do linnets round a tree. The poet says that recently he suffered much unhappiness to see that the people he had liked and the great beauty he had loved got only little happiness in life. The poet says that his experience The poet says that recently he suffered much unhappiness to see that the people he had liked and the great beauty he had loved got only little happiness in life. The poet says that his experience tells him that to have in one's heart hatred for a person may well give rise to a great suffering for one's soul. Next, if there is no hatred in one's mind, threats and buffets of the wind of misfortune can never disturb the composure of the soul. He wants that his daughter should be free from all feelings of hatred. We should develop qualities of character and manners. To cherish some intellectual hatred is the worst fault in a person. The poet wants that his daughter should consider strong opinion detestable since he has seen the fate of a most beautiful woman belonging to a well-to-do family who, because of her strong opinions about herself, others, like politics, lost her happiness. She sacrificed her prosperity and all her good qualities, appreciated by her poet admirers, for becoming an out-of-date revolutionary orator full of words in favor of violent action with freedom for Ireland. She gained nothing. This is a reference to Maud Gonne, whom the poet loved. She had refused to many years. Now see the critical notes of this lines. First point, intellectual hatred. The poet always complained Maud Gonne about her intellectual hatred, a passage in his diary 1910. Second point, mark the complexity of the image clusters of Yeats. the horn of plenty of the fourth stanza, which symbolizes innocence, and ceremony becomes plenty's horn. In this stanza, which means sweet voice and is constructed with an old bellows full of angry wind. This shows the richness of the poet's images. The meaning, however, does not become obscure because the phrase is understood by its context and in its context. Now see the next lines. Considering that all hatred, driven in their sound records radical innocence and learns at last that it is self-delighting, self-appeasing, self-affrighting, and that its own will is heaven's will. She can, though every face should scold, and every wildly quarter hall, or every blow must be happy still. And maybe may her bridegroom bring her to a house whose all accustomed ceremony for arrogance and hatred are the wares peddled in the thought fairs. However, in custom and in ceremony are innocence and beauty horn. Ceremony is named for the rich horn and custom for spreading laurel tree. Let's see the explanation of these lines. These lines are from W.E.'s poem A Prayer for My Daughter. The poet is anxious for the safety of his newborn child, and he butler reads, in a world which is growing more and more anarchic and troublesome. The child is slipping innocently through a holy storm. The screaming winds are rising from the Atlantic. The great problem. The child is slipping innocently through a holy storm. The screaming winds are rising from the Atlantic. The great problem in the poet's mind is how to protect the innocent child from breath of the coming tides. The poet becomes gloomy and prays for his daughter. The poet prays in the poem that his daughter be endowed with such virtues as courtesy, humility, innocence, etc. She should not be so beautiful as to make her proud and cruel. He prays that the soul, the inner life of his daughter should flourish and she shall ferment like a flourishing tree. The poet looks into himself and feels that he had developed too much of hatred and a good mind. Hatred must not be, and so he prayed that his daughter should have as little hatred as possible. When there is no hatred, no buffets of misfortunes can ruin the cheerfulness of a person. If there is no hatred mind, assault and battery of mind can never tear the innate off from their life. Intellectual hatred is the worst of all evils. So his daughter may be led to think that strong opinions are detestable things. The poet has seen that strong opinions brought misery to the loveliest woman, I Maud Gonne. She was also born of a well-to-do family. Because of her strong opinions, however, she sacrificed her great beauty, prosperity, and all her merits to become an outdated revolutionary orator full of bursts of violent action. Considering that absence of hatred keeps the soul of radically innocent, self-delighting, contented, and self-signing, the poet's daughter may feel that her sweet will is God's will. Being free from hatred, she may always be happy, even though the whole world turns hostile to her storms of misfortune below against her. Finally, the poet wishes his daughter to be married to a man who belongs to a courteous aristocratic family. He prayed to God that her daughter may take her to his home of perpetual tradition and ceremony. Hatred and arrogance are things belonging to the common people. Aristocratic life is rooted to custom and ceremony, which are the sources of innocence and beauty. Ceremony courtesy is the source of happiness and success in life. And customary courtesy, the source of glittering cheerfulness. The poet implies that aristocratic stands on ceremony and pays great attention to rule of decent and refined behavior. He also implies that aristocratic courtesy is rooted to long tradition. He then adds that usage of courtesy is another name for prosperity, and tradition stands for the growing durability of life. The poet means that decent and refined courtesy leads to prosperity and happiness, and elegant customary behavior leads to pride, success, and honor in life. Now let's see the critical notes of these lines. Mark the richness of the image clusters. Sometimes the bird's image evokes different images and sometimes the same images is used in different contexts. The horn of plenty in the fourth stanza became plenty's horn in the eighth stanza, and the last stanza it has become the rich morn. In the same way, flourishing hidden tree of the sixth stanza has become in the last stanza the spreading laurel tree. Now your poem is finished.